Former FBI Director James Comey and target of President Trump has been indicted on 2 charges. It comes in the wake of Trump pushing to prosecute his political enemies. Comey has issued this statement. Listen.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it.
There you hear the ex-FBI director after learning he has officially been indicted. Happened on Thursday evening, 1 count of making a false statement to Congress, 1 count of obstruction of congressional proceeding. The indictment filed in federal district court in Alexandria, Virginia, shows Comey's charges centered on whether he lied and misled lawmakers during testimony in September 2020 about the Russia investigation. While the precise details were not clear in the sparse, it really was thin. It's just a 2-page indictment. It appeared to reference Comey's testimony that he had never authorized someone at the FBI to leak to the news media about the Trump or Hillary Clinton investigations, a claim prosecutors allege was false. The Guardian filling in some of the details for us. Quote, "No one is above the law." Today's indictment reflects the Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, said in a statement shortly after the indictment was made public. Comey declared on Thursday night he is innocent. He had been expected to turn himself in Friday, but by Friday morning, that appeared to become less likely. The indictment followed Trump's instruction to Pam Bondi to move now to prosecute Comey and other officials he considers political foes, trampling on the Justice Department's tradition of at least the appearance of independence. Also came less than a week after Lindsay Halligan was installed as the top federal prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia. That after Trump forced her predecessor, Eric Siebert, out after he declined to bring charges against Comey over concerns there is insufficient evidence to do so. Prosecutors had also sought a 3rd charge against Comey, but grand jurors rejected that request, according to court documents. Donald Trump celebrated the charges in a post on Truth Social, writing, "Justice in America, one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to, is James Comey, the former corrupt head of the FBI." I wonder if he ever just celebrates or thinks about celebrating privately. Sometimes I'm just giggling to myself that I'll wake up upset because perhaps an ex-partner did something and I now have to co-parent with them. And then I just start giggling because I don't have to be with you anymore. And it makes everything better. That's all I need. I don't need to publicly, well, I guess I just did publicly announce parts of it. He continued in another post, "Whether you like corrupt James Comey or not," and I can imagine, well, I can't imagine too many people liking him. "He lied," Trump said, adding, "James Dirty Cop Comey was a destroyer of lives. He knew exactly what he was saying, and that it was a very serious and far-reaching lie for which a very big price must be paid." Really? I heard it's like a max of, 6 months. I mean, it depends. I don't want to go to federal prison, but it's like 6 months. And that Ghislaine lady is eating at a salad bar. So, I mean, how big of a price is that? Guess it's up to the person facing it, the one doling it out. Comey is expected to be arraigned in federal district court on October 9th. He's expected to be represented by Patrick Fitzgerald, former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. He faces up to 5 years in prison. Oh, I was wrong. A max of 5 years in prison if convicted. And it's a really big if at this point. Legal experts suggest the case may be was just too difficult to prove. As of last night, Comey's son-in-law has resigned. James Comey's son-in-law, Troy Edwards Jr., resigned Thursday night from his position as a senior national security prosecutor. That was shortly after the former FBI director was indicted. In a one-sentence letter to U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan, obtained by CNN, Edwards wrote, "To uphold my oath to the Constitution and country, I hereby resign as an assistant United States attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia in the Department of Justice, effective immediately." Edwards worked in the same Virginia office that is now prosecuting his father-in-law. Yeah, I think one of the counts, 6 months or something. Look, this is what is going to happen, and there is indication, speculation, and I think it's a more accurate way to put it, was that could be a very fast-moving adjudication here. Comey could demand, as is his constitutional right, if we're still going by the Constitution, he could demand a speedy trial, get after it. He said, let's go for it. I want a trial, something to that effect, paraphrasing. So let's go for it. Could it be 30 days? What do you think of all of this? His reaction, the grand jury, who some had said, speculated ahead of time, maybe they'll hand him another loss, like the grand jury did with the man who threw the sandwich in D.C. at the National Guard. Well, it was on it was on camera. He threw a sub sandwich. They chased him, and the grand jury said, "We're not get out of here. We're not going to indict.
We're not doing this." Yeah. I think Comey, if you watch the video, he worked under Trump, and he knows that this guy is a maniac when it comes to his vindictive nature. Like, this guy is very petty, and he's always looking to settle scores. Like, Comey, I think he's known that the entire time, that he's, kind of decided to be somebody that was publicly opposed to Donald Trump and his program. So it feels like he's ready. At the same time, it needs to be noted that even something as ticky tack and this monkey charge that they've levied against Comey, fighting the federal government can ruin your life in terms of the amount of resources you need to marshal, even for something as stupid and petty as this. Like, you have to spend a lot of money. You can drive yourself bankrupt fighting the federal government, right? And so make no mistake about it, Trump knows that. He knows that this could be ruinous for Comey to fight this in the courts. And yeah, he's just getting them back. And I think folks need to understand it. Like, when we at first were seeing all of these corporate business leaders, like, why are they sucking up to him? Aren't they powerful in their own right? It's like, dude, this guy is at the top of the federal government, the most powerful governing body ever. Unlimited resources and funds to come after you if and when they decide to. And so we've seen these prominent business leaders take a different tack than, say, what a James Comey did. And I think this is why.
Yep. And he has an army of evil elves. Santa has good elves, right? They'll be getting to work soon, if not already, if you believe. But Trump has like so many devices and so many evil elves at his disposal who are willing to do this, like the social secretary or whatever she was, now one of the most powerful U.S. attorneys in the country, Eastern District of Virginia, Rocket Docket. So maybe she will. Folks are calling for the transcript, saying she presented by herself. Look, she got an indictment. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but people said she would have a hard time getting it because she had zero experience, has never prosecuted. She and I have the same experience, except today, one of us has presented to a grand jury, one of us has not. Okay? So that means I could have gotten the indictment. Do you agree, Woz?
Well, I think isn't she like an insurance lawyer or something like that? Like, obviously has no experience prosecuting criminal cases, let alone federal kind of cases. And I think another thing that Comey can kind of bank on, Virginia and DC specifically, a more liberal leaning pool of people that would potentially be on a jury. And yeah, I could see them just being like, this is crap. I mean, DC is something like 90% will vote for a Democrat or whatever. So those are positive things in his favor. But again, you need to remember to fight a federal case
Yep.
takes a lot of resources.
Yeah, it does. Um, but if anyone's up for it, perhaps that's the ex FBI director who has a daughter who resigned, a son in law. Maybe they'll be on his team. And on the newly installed U.S. attorney out of Virginia. Who knows? I mean, there's plenty of right-leaning prosecutors who may pitch in. I would say get the Kraken lady. What was her name? Release the Kraken. She was a former federal prosecutor before she started talking all crazy. She's been disbarred, so she can't help her either, but she'll find someone and we'll follow the case.